Hi, my name is Callie Beach, and today I'm presenting my service leadership project titled Enhancing Parent Engagement Through Strategic Resource Allocation. This project was completed as part of LEED 6905 at East Carolina University. The focus of my project was to increase parent engagement at D.H. Conley High School. After reviewing data and meeting with stakeholders, it became clear that there were limited opportunities for parents to interact with administration and a lack of clear communication about school processes. To address this, I created a series of 3 sessions called Viking Voices. These were informal morning meetings designed to give parents a space to ask questions, provide feedback, and learn more about the school. Each session focused on different topics, including course registration, student support systems, and preparing for the upcoming school year. The goal was not only to increase engagement, but also to examine how small resource decisions, like providing coffee and donuts, could impact participation and overall perception of the school. Through data analysis and conversations with stakeholders, several key problems were identified. First, communication was not consistently reaching families. Second, there has been a decline in PTSA involvement. Third, there were limited opportunities for parents to engage with the school. And finally, many parents lacked a clear understanding of important school processes like course registration and available student supports. These issues highlighted a disconnect between what the school was sharing and what parents were actually receiving. Looking at stakeholder language, there was definitely mixed perspectives. Some parents expressed appreciation for opportunities to communicate, especially when information was clear and accessible. Others showed frustration with low participation and unclear messaging. Comments like, "We've only got like 4 people on the PTO," or "they're not going to come," show that there are assumptions being made about parent involvement. At the same time, parents also shared that they often don't receive important information, especially when it's passed through students instead of directly from the school. From the research side, it reinforces that effective leaders must be strategic with budgeting and planning, and that how resources are used directly impacts outcomes. Research also emphasizes that strong schools maximize existing resources and focus on organization, alignment, and flexibility. When you put both perspectives together, it really comes down to being responsive, listening to stakeholders, and making adjustments based on what you hear. To address the identified problems, I took several action steps. I worked with the principal to plan the sessions, created both English and Spanish flyers, and shared them through curriculum night, social media, and school communication systems. I also developed survey to gather feedback on parents' understanding of our school processes and to guide the focus of each session. In addition, I followed the school's budgeting process by submitting prior approvals and purchasing refreshments for each session. This allowed me to see firsthand how resource allocation works at the school level. The first session had 5 attendees, the second had none, and the third is planned for later. Even with varying attendance, the process provided valuable data and insights. There were 4 major key takeaways from this project. First, that small incentives can impact engagement. Something as simple as coffee and donuts can influence whether people show up. Second, direct communication is critical. Parents need to hear information directly from the school, not just through students. Third, feedback should guide decisions. The qualitative data collected from parents helped identify real gaps and areas for improvement. And finally, there is a clear need for stronger and more consistent communication systems. This project had a big impact on my leadership development. It gave me a better understanding of how budgeting and resource allocation directly affect participation outcomes. It also reinforced that leadership requires listening and adapting. As a leader, I don't have all the answers, and I'm not supposed to. It's about creating opportunities to hear from stakeholders and using that feedback to guide decisions. This experience also showed me how important communication is. When communication improves, engagement improves, and ultimately outcomes improve as well. Overall, this project showed that improving parent engagement doesn't always require major changes. Sometimes it's about being intentional with the resources you already have, creating opportunities for connection, and being willing to listen and respond. Thank you for listening to my presentation.